I should have to. I'm only really expecting Andrew to show up. I think they switched our
Hmm.
work hours. So I think Luke's at the gym, but yeah,
Shit.
just yeah, because it's summer school or whatever, right? So,
Oh yeah, I guess it is.
but it's annoying because this week's still like a normal schedule for us. But they're like, oh, it's summer school. You need to come in an hour earlier. It's like, what? Why?
Mm.
So that's mildly annoying. But what can you do?
And people learn better when it's early. When it's hot, I don't know.
Yeah, no, well they have like seminars, which we don't get many of. But yeah, it's just
Hmm.
it's just mildly annoying. So.
Shit.
And then we have like 2 6-day weeks. Like I'm supposed to go work Monday, and basically I have like nothing to. I have like no classes. Like, why am I coming in? It's like Clerk's Day, right? It's my day off.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, I did, and I did one
Hey
more
there.
little splurge just because I think I told you like right now because of American credit card, Japanese Amazon, like everything I buy is like 40% off, right?
Wait,
Because of
American what?
American credit,
What happened?
American credit card on Japanese Amazon, meaning I'm getting the exchange rate, which
Oh,
going that way right now, it's like a 40% discount on like everything. That's why I've been buying so much crap.
wait. Did our dollar tank or did the yen tank?
The yen tanked.
Was that because Shinzo Abe got shot?
Nah, as before I've been buying for like 2 months now, right?
Wouldn't that be fucking weird if that just like triggered a huge collapse?
Yeah.
What's that like? Is that fucking weird? Is everybody being super weird about it? That was like really crazy. I mean, from my perspective, it seemed like a really crazy ass thing to happen. And
But
they're saying like there's connections to the Moonies and stuff.
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, that's basically the reason. Anyway, I won't bother my culture, but I got one of the monologues, but it was
Which
uh,
one?
monologue,
The
chord monologue.
XD? Did you get
No,
the
no, that
XD?
you're talking about the mini log. I got a
Oh
monologue,
shit. Yeah, the monologue is cool, I think. They
and
have
it's
Aphex Twin patches in it.
it has that, yes. And like I can when I just wanted
It's
something like in this house because well, you've been up here. I
yeah.
keep the sense at the other house, right? So I
Uh-huh.
want something I can use here. So the monologue makes more. The sequencer's better. The filter's better.
Well, it has yeah, it's got some weird shit on it. Like the base station 2 also does that they like patched in later.
Yeah,
Have you
but
gotten to play with that at all? Were you even around? You weren't even around when I bought that.
I haven't played on a base station. No.
Yeah, it's pretty damn cool. I mean, it's like the sound is a little bit it doesn't sound I don't know how to describe it. Like it has a like a less weight to the sound than a lot of analogs do,
I kind
I
of like the weight.
guess.
I think though.
Well, but it sounds like nastier
Oh,
and
okay.
crazier. So
But
it's more of a because it's based on 90s architecture, so like it basically, when everybody was trying to do like the vampire disco from Blade or whatever, like that kind of like acid sound, like
right.
it's sort of like heavily influenced by the 303, which is a weird
Well, I
noise to
had
be.
that future retro thing for a while, right?
You get rid of that?
I
It was like a
did.
circle?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Hmm.
You is I got rid of it because I got that electronic drum kit for a while, so I need to sell a few things to fund that, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can do there are plenty of things to do that. I know a lot of people are super into that type of thing, but like a Volca bass could do that. It's
Exactly.
like
That's the
it's
thing. I
like
got
a
a
hundred
no.
dollars.
I have a Volca bass
Yeah.
and Beats. That's the other thing. I run those through the Monotron, right? So
A Volca bass is actually like it does a better 303 than the 303, and it does like kind of a like it's kind of great for like a lead or a bass synth.
yeah,
Like it's
yeah,
kind of
it is.
like
I haven't used mine that much to be perfectly
it's
honest. So
it's like a
you know,
budget what do you call it? Mini tar kind of.
yeah. What was I thinking of? Da, da, da. Okay, Andrew's having technical crap stand by. Anyway, on Amazon, the monologue was like $400, and then in Japan, it was much cheaper, like $250. And after using my credit card, I got it for like $190.
Jesus.
I know that's why I
I
bought
should
it.
just I should just have you buy me like $1,000 worth of shit, then come to Japan and pick it up and use that to fund my Japan trip.
Yeah, really.
That's like the dumbest, most circuitous fucking scam ever
No, I
or
got a
scheme.
like I got a guitar for work, just so I could play guitar at work. And again, because I got like an insane discount on it. So
I have toyed with the idea of getting a nano box lemon drop. Are you familiar with that?
I'm not quite sure what that is.
Lemon. It's a granular synth.
Lemon. Hold on. What is it?
It's yellow. It's called a lemon drop.
I was
It's 1010 music lemon drop.
One word lemon drop.
I think it's one word.
1010.
It's a little expensive, but it does stuff that is cool, and most other things don't do that.
Because I actually use my iPad for most things, and then later just replace them if necessary. Replace them with analogs.
Well, I mean, it's so stupid. I can't just drop links onto this thing.
Yeah, no, I'm getting drinks and guitars. Sorry, give me a little. You said one more. It was a
nano box lemon drop.
Nano box. There, that's a much
nano box.
Nano box.
Nano box. I'm probably not buying one of these, but it's kind of like if I was gonna fucking get something, that's probably something I would get.
Okay, that looks like fun.
It's a granular synthesis. Is sort of like you put waves into it, but it will like stretch out small parts of the wave and synth, so it's got a lot of like weird time stretchy sound to it.
Olo.
Hi.
I should have taken a picture of the book. We were at the bookstore on Sunday, and Hannah shows me this book which has like two schoolgirls, like very anime cute schoolgirls, and then they're both
where this is going,
and they're both doubling barreling middle fingers, but then the middle fingers are all like intensely detailed, like drawn out, like in a
but they have big
style.
Muscles like anime or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they're not all wrinkly grandpa like mine.
Kind of a little. Yeah, it was kind of along that line, but then the girls themselves are very anime cute, so it was pretty funny.
All right,
now I'm just gonna be thinking about my fingers.
I'm intensely aware of my hands.
What do my fingers look like?
I wish I was human. I wish I had 5 fingers.
What movie is that from?
The Fifth Element. Oh God!
What'd you say? Enemy Mine?
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I've been meaning to rewatch that. I forget a lot of it.
No, I'm doing okay there. Okay.
Good ass movie right there.
Yeah, dude. I keep confusing that with I Come in Peace, which is like, I mean, it's like the same time period, right?
I Come in Peace.
Anyway, well, might as well admit to the shame that I didn't get a chance to watch every episode.
That's fine.
So I had 4 left because out of the last few I just kind of slammed a couple because they sounded cool.
Right.
But I just sort of scanned. I read synopses and scanned.
That's fine.
Stop at Willoughby, Chaser, Passage for Trumpet, and The Mighty Casey.
Okay.
Stop Willoughby.
You definitely need to go back and watch that one. But yeah.
I mean, they sound cool, but I was more interested in the After Hours and A World of His Own. Even though
that's cool.
That last one was like a little bit creepy, but whatever.
And my guess on that is like a witch, the one that was on on the Escape Clause episode, I think.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it's just as I was telling Mark that they switched our Luke hours around, our work hours around. So Luke is working out at the moment because he likes to get buff at the gym.
He should just podcast while he's working out. Like, oh, I think.
I told him he should actually, but yeah, maybe, I don't know. Maybe that
if he doesn't use the camera, he can be pooping and get the same effect.
Yeah, you still have to wear a mask in the gym too, so maybe like it's a 3 for effect or something that isn't.
That sounds great.
What if it's like he's not actually at the gym? He just is like hiding under a bridge, just eating like shrimp chips or something.
That should be good. Oh, since both of you here, I should mention his other suggestion. This would probably be for a December release, but he was like, why don't I take my game show people and do one of your episodes, and you guys do a game show.
Oh God. Yeah, okay.
We need to get it.
What is that show's format? Like, what do they do?
3 rounds.
You got it. It's really funny.
Mark's
really funny.
You go back. Mark's on one a few weeks back, and I'm on one in 2 weeks, I think. Like it comes out.
What it is basically a game show where the format just changes based on whatever they rotate hosts, wherever the host is decides what the format is, it's usually like got a lot of sadistic bullshit in it. Like they'll just ask each other questions that are impossible or have like completely arbitrary answers, and it just none of it matters, which is,
Oh, I like
great.
it.
I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Also, I don't know if you got, I read some article a couple of years ago that said after you're 40, you don't spend as much time playing video games as you do reading video game news, and that's probably me at this point. So
Yeah, so we'd probably try and make it guessier rounds, so no one really.
Yeah.
But I got started very late. I didn't buy a
yeah, you're
console.
playing. Yeah, you're playing games now, and I'm just reading news about them.
Yeah, like I said, we'll focus on the guessier rounds where it's just like weird headlines or something like that, as opposed to name all these Pokemon characters, which none of us are
Yeah.
supposed to do.
Yeah, but they still do a lot of stuff that I know as a 45-year-old. So I don't think.
Oh,
it's,
Andrew, I ran you through my rounds. Remember
Oh, was that what it was?
that was when I hosted their show. Yeah, the rounds were for their show, so that's sort of
Okay, so how did I do? I don't even remember.
that's how the show is. How did they do? You don't even remember.
Okay,
sometimes
cool.
you're just making stuff up and seeing if someone can guess if it's made up or not. Like a lot of it's that.
Anyway, I guess Mark, I feel like you're the one to make rounds for it, and you have 3 months to do it.
Okay, 3 months. I will not do anything super obscure or
Yeah.
monster. I've never played a Monster Hunter game really, so
And we should. Well, I don't think we have to do that anyway. So yeah, I mean, you'll hear mine in a couple weeks. Where mine, well, I did the rounds. I did the rounds to everybody. Yeah, so that sort of shit. Anyway, I guess we'll get rolling on this one because I also have to go to work an hour earlier. But no, 30 minutes
Shit.
earlier. I'm gonna go 30
What?
minutes early and stay 30 minutes late. That's why I'm here doing this podcast.
okay.
I almost was like, oh shit, I have to cancel it. And then I was like, why don't you just come
Oh,
30
shit.
minutes early and leave 30 minutes late? So it's like, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm lucky enough to have a job where my hours are sort of just made up.
Right. Yeah, mine are usually pretty set, but it's summer and just for 3 weeks a year it gets real random and stupid. So
Well,
I
it's
won't
just
be-
one of those things where I get told to leave early, but I can't because I have too much stuff to do. So it's
See, Monday I have to show up and I have nothing to do all day, so that'll be fun. And it's usually my day off. It's like, why am I even at work today? But
oh god.
what can you do? Okay, hi. Welcome to Time Enough Podcast. Is a podcast where we get into the episodes of the Twilight Zone and beyond. Not beyond today. We're just having a look at the entirety of season 1. It's a threesome today with Matt here. Andrew's in the bottom square. Mark's
Whoa.
in the left top square on my screen.
Yeah, what's up? I'm at top.
Are you on the bottom of your screen?
I'm to the right because I moved myself over to the right so that the two of you could be in the way of my camera, so I could look straight at you like I'm talking to a person.
Oh, because it's real different. On Zoom,
I have a computer and a 55-inch television, so I could do whatever I want, really.
Yeah, I was on one of those big Zoom calls, and there were 12 people, and everyone wanted to point at the person to blame, right? But they were all pointing in different directions because the orientation's different on everyone's computer. So
Wait, there's a bunch of blaming in a Zoom call in Japan. Isn't everybody nice?
these were mostly Americans, but whatever.
Oh, okay. That explains it. Never mind.
Okay, so yeah, we're going to talk about the entirety of season 1 in a way, kind of sauntering over. There's no prologue unless someone just wants to make one up.
Imagine, if you will, a world where there are 36 episodes in a season of television.
That is pretty weird.
It is. It's crazy pants. It
We're
doesn't
like-
happen anymore.
We're like 10 now.
Yeah, that's literally 6 episodes. That's 6 seasons of The Mandalorian or something.
Right on. Yeah. Exactly. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Holy shit. Yeah. Holy.
I for real. Watching Deep Space Nine recently was very interesting because that was something like 26 episodes, and those are 44 minutes. So
And then you get to the padding episodes. You're like, what's happening here?
like, why is Quark wearing a dress? I don't know what's going on.
Because you were watching a terrible episode of that show. That's why.
Because he has to learn a lesson.
Okay, why
Which
don't
he
we
did.
start? What actually I'm real curious about this. Let's start negative. Sure, why not? We'll get more positive as we go. What was the turd of the season for you? Did it have a turd?
I don't know if it had a turd. I'd love to answer that. I mean, I didn't connect a whole lot with the Western stuff, but it's like I can't say I didn't like some of it. You know, it's also you can't go into this stuff without thinking to yourself, well, there's going to be Western stuff in anything from this period.
Yeah, I guess for
When war stuff. What was the war? The
the
Purple Testament.
Yeah. You
There's
don't like going
maybe
to
like a
war?
little too much war in that. Like it makes my brain turn off.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean it was bad because it was a cool premise.
Yeah. Well, again, I mean, the quality usually stays pretty high on these, right? It's just like which ones didn't like hit with you. For me, I guess there were like kind of some late season doldrums. You know, maybe they were just getting a little tired or something. For me, probably the Chaser for just being a little like too derpy.
It kind of is just Love Potion number 9.
Yeah, and it's like it like is like 2 steps back on all the feminism and like other episodes, so that wasn't cool. And then I actually like the Mighty Casey, but I see where partly just because of production issues with that episode where maybe it wasn't like the best. But I didn't actually hate that, so I guess I'm gonna go with the Chaser is the one that didn't quite land on both feet for this first season. Mark, are we going to take yours as the Purple Testament then? You just don't want war? You're too much of a pacifist?
Yeah, I'm a pacifist. That bothers me.
Okay.
At least the last flight, the guy was just, saving someone's life.
Right. Not seeing everyone's life end. Andrew, where do you lie on this one?
I really didn't like the one where it was like the people thought they were in one place, but they're actually in another.
That's
Which
like
one was
3
that?
episodes.
I'm kidding.
Were they in the Twilight Zone?
No, that would be Walking Distance. Rod Serling's favorite episode is my least favorite from season 1. That's the one with the Gig Young where he goes back in time by walking down the street and he encounters his younger self and then proceeds to just like do all the things Back to the Future tells us to not do. He like does all of those things. I mean, stopping short of having sex with his own mother. He really, and he ends up, with a limp and scarring his childhood self and all this other. I mean, it's just,
yeah, and he just kind of is just like, well, what are you gonna do? That's kind of that is kind of how that one made me feel. Was like, well, the guy did do a bunch of ridiculous stuff, and there's just like, what am I gonna do?
Hey,
I have a limp now.
At one point, he meets his own dad, and his dad's like, be cool. And then he's like, oh God, just running around like an ass. I mean, it's just not, it's one of the, let's see, out of all the time travel stuff that's come since then, I do enjoy the way that Twilight Zone tends to not have a time machine, but rather, just these sort of like little instances where they go back and forth. But yeah, he was a total, like, I didn't feel sorry for him at all. I'm like, maybe you should kill your childhood self because, I mean, look what you're going to grow up to be. It's like the world's biggest idiot.
Well, there was a time machine in Execution, and I left that one out when I was saying that I wasn't into the Western ones because I did really enjoy Execution, even though I don't think Luke enjoyed it very much.
That only has about a minute of Western anyway, so at 30 seconds at the beginning, 30 at the end, and a cowboy all in the middle, right? But
it reminded me a lot of Hereditary, where like basically the story starts off as one thing and it gradually shifts into something completely different.
Is that The Simpsons?
Just insane. No, it's just, by the end of that film, if you watch the first 3 minutes and the last 3 minutes of it, you would just be like, what? This random guy with a loose fitting suit now hanging.
The other thing with Walking Distance is that's where we were introduced to, wow, some of these actors' lives went really wrong. Does that factor in, or is it just based on Marty himself, or is the Gig Young factor coming in, who famously murder suicided later on?
Did you read up about him and his the Gig Young story does not end well. No, it's just plain and simple with the writing. I mean, I don't know if it's the casting or not, but yeah, the whole time you're watching, you're going like, dude, quit.
I kind of wonder if with anthology stuff, if it just maybe people who aren't the most stable people in the world. I feel like I'm making a really bad generalization because we're going to have so many actors in this show, and we already have had so many actors. It might just be like a quantity thing. Like if
A
you
law
have
of
36
averages.
episodes with, law of averages, 36 episodes of actors. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
just
no,
curious
it's
if that's going to happen with season 2 as well, because I think I've done the first several episodes, and I haven't run into anything particularly dark. I think.
no, it gets. But you said you did enjoy Mighty Casey. I think the reason why people aren't as into Mighty Casey is because the guy that plays the robot. I mean, how do you play a robot badly? I don't think he's good as the robot.
I agree. He's a bad
Yeah.
robot.
Yeah,
I
he
wouldn't
wasn't
have
a great
known he was a
robot.
robot if I just fast forwarded through the episode really fast.
Again, he just seems like an idiot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true. So, like I said,
Almost like
I
Mongo.
did list that in as the one that maybe didn't quite hit, but maybe that's the other part of the production. Like they had to switch out they switched out the manager at in reshoots.
Yeah, but I mean, you've got Jack Warden in there, right? I mean, he's great.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah, he filled
you have
in
to have
nicely.
somebody that can hang with Jack Warden. I don't think that guy could hang with Jack Warden.
I guess that's it. Maybe he could hang with the other guy better. So,
Possible.
Hmm.
Yeah.
but yeah, that is the other one. The chaser chased by the Mighty Casey would be my I guess weak spot for this one.
Yeah.
So
If I had any gripe really about season 1, is that there are some samey episodes. Where the sort of the punchline, if you will, is kind of similar. You have this group of dicks that think this one thing's happening. It turns out, after all, the guy becomes ultimate dick. Then it's just like, oh no, that was all for nothing because yeah. Which one's that again?
20 something.
22. What? That's another season.
Mm.
I thought I'd just lay on the regular questions and see how they hit for this season. Being in your mind for the folks who took journeys in the season, who delved deepest into the Twilight Zone, who plunged into the depths. Yeah.
Okay. I wish I would have gotten this beforehand. So I'm gonna have to think of my feet here.
The whole point is to not
Oh,
make you think beforehand. I want a spit guess.
Mark looks like he's closer than I am to a conclusion.
I'm thinking of how many of these characters went to hell.
Okay, I
Mr.
guess
Bevis.
Probably 3 or 4. Yeah.
I'll go ahead and start with those astronauts and when the sky was opened, because
Oh my God, yeah.
they even
Mhm.
ceased to exist, like, and nobody remembered them or anything. They're just like, they're so deep in the Twilight Zone. Even their ship vanished, and probably someone went and like, hey, why is this tarp here, right? And then the next day, like, they vanished. That's my assumption.
That one might be the scariest one to me.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Because, there's no, the non-existence is pretty terrifying. I mean, from an existential perspective, obviously you're not existing. So existentially, what's worse existentially than not existing?
yeah, they've completely entered the void. So for me, that was the deepest plunge into the zone for season 1. With my test answer out there, did it crack any skulls, metaphorically speaking?
Did someone crack skulls? Is that the question?
No, I'm cracking your skull by giving.
Oh, are you
answer
cracking
first.
my skull?
Metaphorically?
Well,
Oh,
I've pretty much arrived at mine.
Okay. Go for it.
Mind. So in the episode Mirror Image, where Vera Miles is seeing her doppelganger at the train station, I recall Matthew and I were sort of at odds because of the way this one ends. There's this kind of a corny tag on the episode where the man is now chasing his doppelganger down the street. I initially had thought maybe Vera Miles' character, the one that's not on the bus, goes to the Twilight Zone, but I think it's the guy chasing himself that's in the Twilight Zone.
Is he going to chase himself forever?
No, the guy that he's chasing ends up just replacing him.
That was
Yeah.
sort of one where I felt like the episode started out stronger and the ending was kind of like someone just throwing the script in the air.
Yeah, they needed
it-
a stronger ending than her seeing herself on the train is great. Like that
Yeah.
should have been where it stopped, I thought.
Like that was up there with the Hitchhiker for me until it wasn't, I guess.
No, that's what I mean though. There's some that have kind of a samey sort of a, I keep saying punchline, but I mean it's just sort of the tag at the end of these things. They often have they end on the same note. Maybe that's a good word.
That might be this is, I think, the season where Serling wrote the most scripts himself, because that was, part of his initial contract. Like he was literally like, contracted to write 2/3 of the season.
Yeah, and you're just like you were saying, the law of averages. There's going to be a couple of rotten eggs in there, but I don't think any are bad. It's just that there's a bit of repetition in terms of the way the episode feels, and definitely the way it ends. You think it was this, but it's this. There's a few of those.
Mark,
so, some are stronger than others. Yeah. I agree that about the Hitchhiker.
Did you set on your deepest plunge, Mark? Into that
deepest
void?
plunge. I mean, I'm trying. Unfortunately, some of these where I'm like, I remember most of the plot, but not all of them, and that's really not very fortunate.
Well, I guess it's all about what stuck with you. That's kind of what I'm going with.
I mean, I think
it's sort of the kind of thing where
Judgment Night.
Ah,
that's my answer. That guy went the deepest because he's in like a repeating, and not just in a hell, but repeating hell. That's like the worst, right?
Yeah,
hey, that's my answer. I'm not asking. Yes, correct.
Okay, yeah. That wasn't a question, was it? But I still stand by my. I wonder if things slowly change and if it becomes less hellish or more hellish or whatever. Like, does his loop change at all? Because
if every single time he has to find out he's in a loop, then what is that even like?
Yeah, my criteria every time we ask that question is if there's one character I cannot imagine them continuing in the story. You know what I mean? That's how I decided who went to the Twilight Zone. If I'm like, okay, there's no ending for this particular character.
The one I was trying to remember is, I can't remember the plight of the guy in What You Need, but I think the guy in What You Need just died, right? Didn't he just get hit by a car or something?
Yeah, he put on some ill-fitting shoes and like fell over and then got hit by a car. Something along those lines.
He was doing pretty well until then.
That's actually right.
Yeah,
that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, he fell over. So that he didn't go the deepest.
Yeah, no. It sounds stupid when I said it, but it wasn't making a joke, was I?
No, that's pretty much all of it. Yeah.
So taking that to question number 2 is this could be in a positive or a negative way, like who is most deserving of their trip into the Twilight Zone.
Oh man.
I got an answer for this.
Okay, you're first then.
Yeah.
The guy is where's the title? Where's the title? I can't find it. I'm looking at all Escape Clause.
Oh, okay.
That guy was a monster. It was so fun to watch him because he was like absolute. I don't know if they wrote him as such a sociopath because they're just like, screw it, we're making this guy evil and we're just going to go as far as we want because he's going to die at the end. But yeah, that was a pretty terrifying individual and definitely deserved the worst. I mean, he just pushed his wife off a roof because he was bored, right?
Well, it was almost an accident. It was slightly an accident, right?
Well, it was like he was going to jump off and then she jumped off, or she fell off, and then he was like, oh, well, I'll go to prison. That'll be interesting. Yeah. And then
he was rolling with events.
Then he invoked the escape clause because he didn't feel like being in prison for 60 years, even though he was going to live forever. What a maniac.
You thought Marty was an idiot.
He was like him and the murderer from Execution were my 2 favorite maniacs in this. I didn't ask for favorite maniacs, but those are like the most like deranged, monstrous people in this entire series.
So you think maniacs are most deserving? You're taking
those particular maniacs? Yeah, they're pretty horrible. I'd say the guy in a world of his own is kind of evil, but he doesn't get any comeuppance at all. In fact, he just erases Rod Serling at the end.
Yeah, he doesn't interact with
If-
anything real the entire time. Again, a world of his own.
Yeah, I guess that is true.
Okay,
So maybe he's quite deserving of whatever because he's just a writer making it happen. I don't know.
He deserves to not have a real wife, I guess. Problem solved.
Oh, they hadn't done the mail order wives yet. Maybe was the problem. So he had to use his dictaphone.
There was did you guys
That
see there
sounds
was
horrible,
some
too.
documentary series with it was like mail order brides, and you watch the petulant man children like deal with the horror that they've unleashed upon themselves when they realize that their mail order wives are real people with actual agency, and it's like a lady yelling at this guy like, you have to do some chores. He's like, no.
God,
It's just like that.
I think
I'd
I'm gonna
watch it
avoid
if
that.
they were real doll yelling at the guy instead of that would be good.
Yeah.
Okay, so when Mark named his person, that was my person, and then he
Oh,
went on
okay.
and named another person, and that was my. I'm gonna go
Okay.
with my third person, which is from I Shot an Arrow into the Air. The one guy who immediately wants to just kill everybody. Like
Yes.
he jumps right into, no one should live but me mode. That guy.
Yeah. That's a
the
good
guy.
That's a good answer. Yeah, he was just like, "Wait, is it time to kill everyone?"
Yeah, no, it's like immediately the plane goes down. He's like, "Well, where's the soccer player?" He's got guy's leg in his mouth before he even touched the ground. He was the worst. I mean, they in a 20-minute thing, you got to paint in some broad strokes, and I feel like from anybody I can think of, they're like, let's make everyone hate him right now. He was the monster. Definitely, we've used that word once or twice already. That was the monster if I shot an arrow in the air.
Your third
Yeah.
guess was my first guess, so now I have to think.
Oh,
of another
okay.
one. Well, I guess we're hitting in the same ballpark, so there must be some truth to what we're saying. So I'll go. So I will say, yeah, I was actually going to go with the guy, and I shot an arrow into the air.
He's
So
the worst.
I'll go for that positive approach and give a tie for the Big Tall Wish and Mr. Denton on Doomsday, because their trip to the Twilight Zone kind of like taught them to appreciate life better and drop their baggage. So that's nice.
I like that. That way I can think about them and not everybody marking up his name.
Because you can say,
Yeah, it's like these are morality plays, and they're well-crafted morality plays. So of course, like they're gonna make the best villains that you're ever gonna see, because these guys are here for one episode, and they're here for you to boo them like a wrestling heel.
Yeah,
So
there's
it's
no
written out.
redeeming quality. There's no like empathy for them. You can't see their side of it.
Yeah.
You can't be
Yeah,
like,
execution guy. I'm just calling them by their episode titles. Mr.
guy.
Execution guy. Execution guy literally just like shot someone who was in a car because he ran in front of a car.
That must be why I
sucks so
chose
bad.
Mr. Denton. I can remember his name easily because it's in the title. Because I don't remember the Big Tall Wish. Bowley maybe.
Bully.
There we go. Okay, I got it. Yeah, I could also like just scroll down and like find his name probably, unless they don't put it in there.
That was that one was kind of sad to me, but it was
They just call him a boxer.
sad.
What was sad, but in the end,
Poignant.
like again, like he needed to lose. Winning the fight made his
Yeah,
life terrible. He needed to lose.
He didn't.
Right?
Yeah, he didn't. He didn't die. He was just like, he was cool.
Right.
But it was what do you call it? Bittersweet.
Yeah.
That's
But you do
Yeah.
feel like he's got a positive place to go from that experience. Just with Mr. Denton, I mean, he's still stuck in a podunk town with a broken hand. So he's
Yeah.
not, but he's got a better attitude now. So again, the guy who just wanted to kill everyone, yeah, sure, easily he's the most deserving of whatever is coming.
Yeah, or someone from the Monsters Who Do on Maple Street, which I don't remember a lot of their names. I'm pretty sure there was someone who's really bad in that.
That crossed my mind. Yeah, there was the guy that with the Hawaiian shirt, the kind of fat guy with the Hawaiian shirt.
It's always the guy with the Hawaiian shirt.
I'm kind of wearing a Hawaiian shirt here. Not
It's
quite.
you.
Yeah, it's just more of
You
an
did
Austin
it.
Powers shirt. But I almost thought about Maple Street. I'm like, man, if we say they deserve it, then that means we all deserve it, doesn't it?
Yeah, we
So-
all deserve it. No, yeah, they were being manipulated, if not by just their power was out. If my
Yeah,
power
but-
goes out, you know,
Well, that's
Good
the
luck.
thing. Like, what? Good luck if that happens, especially in a. I mean, now people are going to go more nutty, probably. You know,
it is 9:36 p.m. and it is 84 degrees.
that sucks.
now.
I turned on my
Yeah.
air conditioner, so yeah,
I mean, I have an air conditioner, but you know, it's 84 degrees outside, so you know.
got a grinding summer out here this year. It sucks.
Mhm.
The rainy
That's
season
the
ended
coldest it'll ever be.
early.
Yeah,
Well, except
it's
for
the
winter.
coldest summer of the rest of your life.
Oh God.
June was really cool, actually. June was nice, but then July was like, haha, you like June, did you? Take this.
It's just when you can't remember when it was cold, that's hot.
Okay.
I can't remember the last time I was outside and like in the summer and been like, it's summertime. Like I
Sorry,
can't remember the last time I was happy for it to be summer.
I thought you were going
No.
to stop, but I can't remember last time I've been outside.
You
I
know,
can't
because you've been in
remember.
the hospital. Your body needs at minimum 15 minutes of sunlight per day.
What if I just turn the lights up in my room?
Are they
I don't think it
ultraviolet?
works like that.
Your entire room would need to be a tanning salon, I think.
Yeah, no. The best is to do it in early in the day. I think it really helps you get tired at night. I
Well,
thought
this
this
is
was
like-
about the Twilight Zone. What are we talking?
Yeah, it's a
We're talking about-
podcast though.
This is a healthy zone.
This is a
Okay,
podcast.
but
No.
I thought somebody had to go to work early. What's
Mm.
I still
You?
got 30. I got time.
You were just pointing at my list of episodes.
oh yeah, everything's different on here. On my
Oh,
screen.
okay.
Mark is at the bottom. Matt is.
Oh, it's like
Yeah, you were pointing at
time,
my status bar.
time. No.
Are you gonna do that?
There
You're gonna
you go.
flash a. You should get a big giant sign that says time and have it flash behind your head when it's done. Wrap it up.
If I get to that point, I'll
Wide.
do that.
Okay, so what do you have more questions? Do you have statistics? Did you prepare some statistics?
You know what the last question is. You can guess.
Tripometer of the entire season.
You got to give your highest and lowest tripometer for the season. Now, for me, it's easy because I'm on every episode, so I know which one I give a 5 to. So I have to go with the one I give a 5 to, right? Which was A World of Difference, in great part because of the conversation where both of us had basically watched a completely different episode. Because I
Okay.
had taken it like this one guy's was the real reality, whereas, or it's the actor's the real guy, or the what was he? I don't remember. Salesman or something was.
He was
the
a
real guy.
salesman with a family who cared about him, or he
Right.
was an actor with a family who didn't care about him.
Right. So when we did the episode, we were like on completely opposite, coming out from opposite
That's right.
directions. So
You
I
and
th-
John did feel differently about it. My perspective, since you asked, I definitely think it was the actor fantasizing that he was the salesman because
I think I might be too cup is half full on this one because I think now that I think about more, yeah, that's probably right. But
I think that people who are under a lot of stress want to be under less stress. More than people who have like kind of ordinary lives want to be actors.
okay. Anyway,
maybe.
that's my 5, and the one I probably should have given a 5 to, since I put the astronauts and when the sky was open, like since I said they went deepest in a Twilight Zone, I'm like maybe I should have given that episode a 5. I think the reason I didn't was just because it didn't have like trippy imagery in it, like you didn't see them in the spaceship or anything, but especially with a little more time, I'm like, yeah, but it was so existential. Like I think that probably earned a 5, which I didn't give in the episode. So. How about your 5s on the tripometer?
I'll go. My
Yeah, sure.
5 is called The After Hours.
Mm.
Okay.
That's my 5.
The one where we
That scene
terrorized
with the
Andrew.
mannequins are
Oh
zooming
my
in
God!
is
Once again.
oh boy. Yeah, that one was something.
Was that your
I don't-
first view?
I think it was. There's some of these that I'm like, I know I saw these before, and then some of them that I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I hadn't seen that one before.
And I don't think we've ever figured out, Andrew, which episode were you actually thinking of, or were you thinking of the movie After Hours?
No, I was not thinking. I was thinking of After Hours because I've got a thing with mannequins. I don't know if it's so much a tripometer it's just a nightmare-o-meter for me.
Hmm.
That's 5 on the nightmare meter for you, sure.
I think my
Speaking of
nightmare
nightmare-
meter
Yeah,
What a Nightmare as a Child might be on my nightmare meter.
Mm.
That one was scary.
that one is scary. All my favorite ones are like the most kind of horror like. I am gonna go with The Time Enough at Last, because that is gotta be the most iconic Twilight Zone ending there is. And some people might say, well, that just is a bummer. That's not a tripometer. But I think what I think of is not necessarily like, like weird, psychedelic, otherworldly, heady, but I just think of like mind blowing, that's
Yeah,
the,
sorry, go ahead.
no, I'm just gonna say like that's the one where people see it and they go, oh, there's just no matter how many times I see it, I'm just like, oh.
I totally agree with that, because out of all these, it's like objective that is the one episode that changes the entire world the most.
Yes.
And what is tripping except for altering your perspective, and what could alter your perspective more than changing the entire world into an ashtray?
Okay, yeah, that's what I meant to say.
No, I mean, I'm backing you up. You already said it, but I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
well,
yes. I
you
agree.
think remember the alternate ending of Army of Darkness? I slept too
Mhm.
long.
Yeah, yeah.
Which
That's
one's your preferred ending? Very different endings, right?
I like the original ending. I mean, I like the alternate ending in theory, but I think the original one kind of works better with the entire movie,
Yeah, okay.
personally. What about you, Andrew? What's your favorite?
Oh, you talking about Army of Darkness?
Yeah,
What's your
it's a pretty Twilight Zone ending in both ways.
I don't
Both
even
cases.
remember how
Yeah.
it ends, to be honest with you. I haven't watched any of
Uh.
the Bruce Campbell Evil Deads in probably 20 years.
Yeah, there's the
I
one
did a
where
rewatch last year. It's worth doing a rewatch and pretty
Okay,
interesting.
that's not true. I saw the Evil Dead 2 at the drive-in, but I haven't seen Army of. It was my least favorite. I didn't even rewatch it. I remember watching the bonus features. That was it.
It is really interesting how I was like my thoughts on the rewatch is it's so interesting how every one of those movies, it gets more, even though the scope gets bigger, it gets more and more like it's just Bruce Campbell and nobody else. Like Army of Darkness is Bruce Campbell playing himself, Bruce Campbell playing Evil Ash, and then every medieval character is one person. It's one character. There are no characters. They're just like, oh, forsooth, sir, you have betrayed us, and there's just nothing there except for Bruce Campbell just vamping, which it's fun.
I've always
fun, but
said that there's two contingents of that whole franchise. You're either a Bruce Campbell Ash fan or you're an Evil Dead fan. And I think the majority of them don't see any difference, because you can't be an Evil Dead fan and not be an Ash fan because they're one and the same. But I disagree, because my favorite is the newest Evil Dead. I also liked Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which I consider to be canon in Evil Dead. Sorry. And then the Evil Dead the musical, which I think is the most perfect. I mean, if we're going to talk about the trilogy, the way that they rewrote them so they all three take place in 90 minutes, don't like the music, but they nailed the script.
I don't like the music in the musical. That seems like kind of a raw one.
No, it's not.
Sometimes-
It's nothing compared to like Reanimator the musical. They're like super catchy. Like I'd sit and listen to that one. But the Evil Dead the musical, the writing is the best, I think, Evil Dead writing, in terms of they combine the first, second, and third into one story, and it's
while we're it's Twilight Zone feeling enough, but while we're on musicals, I was watching, like I watched like 3 times in a row, which is the final sequence from All That Jazz. Have you seen this?
no.
Is it with Bye Bye Life?
I have.
Is that like Bye Bye Birdie, except for
But no, it's by Bye Bye Love, except it's Bye Bye. It's Bob
Whoa.
Fosse. Bob Fosse, made the movie like basically autobiographical, and he had a heart attack, was in the hospital. But in the movie, this reprehensible, genius dies, and he has a hallucination at the end of this giant musical number, like variety show sort of number. And
that was Roy Scheider's kid?
Yeah, Roy Scheider singing and dancing.
I remember
What?
I'll send you a
Okay.
link, Ed.
Yeah,
You
I'll
should
watch
see it
this.
at least once in your life.
There's like this thing where I I like the idea of musicals more than I actually end up putting aside time to watch them, I guess. Is a
That
thing
one
where
earned some stripes just for being
Phantom of the
completely insane.
Paradise, right?
yeah, but I mean also just shit like Sound of Music sometimes. Like I think about how brilliant the stupid Sound of Music soundtrack is. It's an amazing that those songs are amazing.
They
I
are.
don't know. They
The movie,
blow
though,
my
too long.
mind. I mean, yeah, it's kind of like, well, you're a cute Nazi, so I could probably date you kind of stuff, you know, it's
Dude,
but,
Sound of Music blew my mind.
man. Oh man, the songs.
That comment went to the Twilight Zone.
I didn't get to my 0 on the tripometer, which
Okay.
this
Wait,
is actually
has everyone done their 5? I've lost track.
I think we all did our 5s, yeah.
Okay.
Yours was After Hours, Andrew's was
I'm the host now. Now you go.
Well, I just agreed
Your
with that.
0.
Oh, my 0. This is one where I think the guest Jessica sort of like turned my mind on it by giving Monsters Due in Maple Street a 0 because it's too real, and I was like, oh, I give it a little bit of a score because of the aliens, but it's like the aliens don't matter. It's just people, flipping out on each other in unfortunately realistic ways, which makes it unfortunately a fantastic episode, just not trippy.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I was like, well, they were tripping, and I was like, that I can give them a score because they're tripping. I'm like, no, that's a stupid excuse. That's why I said in the episode. But now I'm like, yeah, okay, that was a 0, wasn't it?
It's like when the aliens are in The Simpsons on the random episodes where it zooms out and they're like, look at those pathetic humans. It's just exactly like that.
Yeah, but we looked at those pathetic humans for like 24 and a half of the 25 minutes, so that last 30 seconds shouldn't really bump the score.
They had a purpose for being there, but it wasn't a trippy purpose. I agree with you.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with that's the case where the guest 0 sort of makes me say, yeah, okay. There is another 0 coming up, by the way.
Okay.
In season 2, not from me, but from guest.
Oh, okay, cool. I like bold choices.
A straight up favorite for the season, just like gut.
Wait, I haven't said my 0 yet.
Oh, did you not say your 0? Okay, sorry, go ahead.
No,
I have a 0 unless you do. You got one?
I got one. It's I shot an arrow into the air because it's literally just they went into space and messed up and did it wrong.
Space wasn't enough.
There's nothing there. Yeah, I mean, we could do that now. Elon Musk could make that now. He could get in a spaceship and reenact that episode, and people would be like, "Ooh, girl, Elon Musk been doing something nasty, eating astronauts."
He probably did. That's like the most dangerous games for the stuff,
He'd be out of prison in like a month. Anyway, that's my answer.
The space camping gear didn't do it for you.
No, I mean, I like the episode, but it's just completely non-trippy to me.
No, that's what I'm saying about Monsters. Great episode, but
yeah.
How you feel about that varies.
That's true, because
it was Earth the whole time.
It can't be trippy because the same thing happens in Little Bear by Maurice Sendak, which is a children's story.
Or like The
Bear rolls
Village
down a hill and he thinks he's in space. He thinks he's
that made me The Village. That made me not watch an M. Night Shyamalan movie for like 20 years. So I was like, that made me so mad.
I think it took me one past that.
The Visit. The next.
Well, The Visit is like when he got good, and
Okay.
I love Split, and Glass is at least fun, campy.
What was after
Old
The
and
Village?
Visit are my favorites. I liked Old quite a bit.
I need to watch that.
Visit, except for the rapping kid, is pretty good. I liked all the poop in The Visit. That was wonderful.
Well, he decided he was going to
Wonderful.
like take himself seriously with that like phase, and I'm like, cool, just do it. Split is just a straight ahead multiple personality horror movie. Like, cool.
Yep. Yeah, no, that one was really good.
I love
Andrew,
multiple personalities.
Andrew, I think I accepted Army as Darkness as your 0, but that was wrong. So
What?
No, my 0 would be Mighty Casey, actually, because
Oh, okay.
you never get any robot, like true ass robot. Like what was the one about the prize fighter? The one that was using a robot to win the boxing match. I don't remember the
Real
name.
Steel?
Hugh Jackman.
Real Steel, right?
No, I'm talking about this Twilight Zone episode.
Oh,
There's one about not Requiem for a Heavyweight. The one where the guy's using a robot as a boxer.
I think that might just be Steel. I'm gonna check on that while you rant, but keep going.
God, I hope that's a season 1. I knew I would do this.
No, Steel is not, but
No.
you're talking about the Mighty
Anyway.
Casey, which is.
Yeah, okay, Mike. It's amazing that I haven't done that more in this episode because I'm a Twilight Zone all the way through watcher. Yeah, Mighty Casey, because you don't get any robot. You really just get that dumb. I hate to say it, but he's just not a good robot, and so it's like there's really nothing. You know what I mean?
You're allowed to say bad things about that actor. He's another one of the dark ones, as he got
thought
very
he must have been a baseball
murdery.
star of the day, and I was
Oh.
like, that's why he's no good, because he was an athlete.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know.
Right, maybe he was no good because he was a future murderer.
That's it. That's what I'm saying. That's
Because
what
he
I'm
was
saying.
someone's
dead
cousin.
behind the eyes. He was dead behind the eyes, and then he must kill later in real
I
life.
want you to put my son in this and a big explosion.
Yeah, I mean, they were probably like, oh, he'll make a good robot because he doesn't have stage presence, but we haven't. There hadn't been that many like humanoid robots on screen yet, so I guess people didn't really know what they were looking for to a certain degree.
Were they still calling them robots?
Robots.
I know they did.
They were
They
in
did
Star
in that.
Trek.
What was the one with the guy who was on Mars, and they sent him a robot?
The robot.
Robot girlfriend.
That's the Lonely. Although that was an asteroid.
The
If we want to
Lonely
get real specific.
asteroid. Yeah, they called her a robot. A
Yeah,
bunch.
No,
Just for the
Captain
record.
Captain Kirk uses the robot term quite a bit. So
Hey, that sounds to me cool. Like, robotic butt.
yeah, why not?
I
So it's
bet
got
when we
its own, like,
have.
LED light show that comes out of it,
Yeah.
Bluetooth.
Yeah, it just has a tramp stamp that's animated.
If we grab
Yeah.
butterfly that kind of flies off, and then it's like a nightlight. It just
It's like, when we have robots, they won't be called robots. They'll come up with a name for them. They'll be called like Charlie or something. They'll be like, hey, it's a
Robots.
Charlie. Yeah. It'll be like a Siri.
Andrew, your temporal
Robots.
dissonance is extreme. Steel is season 5.
damn.
All
So
right.
it's gonna be a while before we get to the robotic
well, I like-
boxer.
Future
See, I'm the
me
kind
in
of-
many years, like Steve.
Imagine, if you will, 5 years from now.
5 years from now, like bing, 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 burn, 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 and burn.
What?
Saying like you watched it all the way through, and I've almost exclusively watched Twilight Zone just out of order, randomly all over the place.
The same here. So I'm just
no, for
now,
most
I'm
of-
slowly going straight through now.
This has been
Most
so
of my childhood
fun.
and teens, and maybe even my early 20s, I consumed it the New Year's kind of a way. But whenever the series came out on DVD, it was when I started then, and I would just start it up. So I do the same thing with Planet of the Apes. If I get in a Planet of the Apes mood, I just start at the beginning and run it through.
Nice.
Let's claim your personal favorite for the season. Which one really lit your fire?
It's one of the ones I wasn't on.
That's fine.
I am a big Monsters Are Due on Maple Street fan, but I realize that's the often fan choice, and that's an easy one.
You can still choose it.
It's your personal.
Like you're allowed to call The Last Jedi your favorite Star Wars film.
It is.
It is a lot of people's.
We can go into that, and you'll be late for work, brother.
My favorite one is the first one. I'm one of those jerks who's like, there's one Star Wars movie. It's called Star Wars, and it's episode 1, Star Wars. They should have just stopped.
Journey of the Wills, all that. Luke
No,
Starkiller.
it's
Oh.
called Star Wars, and it ended.
All this other stuff is just cash grab.
Yeah,
No
yeah, it's just
Star Wars.
toys and just
Okay.
throwing people off of buildings and stuff. Yeah.
If it's not Maple Street, what is it?
If it's not Maple Street, oh gosh, I like Where's Everybody.
Really? That's because I think you were talking about when we did that, when you were like, oh well, it's all the elements aren't quite on fire yet.
No, I agree, but it's the one I tend to see the most because of when I started, and I think I'm not going back on what I said. That one was it really hadn't picked up the Twilight Zone pace or whatever, but I feel that it was kind of drawing out the template, because I do agree that other episodes do what it did better, but I don't know. I dig it for that reason, I think. We're talking context here, whereas we were just looking at it as its own episode in context with the whole season.
Yeah, sure. Mark, where's your fire rage?
This is really difficult, and I should have thought about it.
Okay, I can go first if you want.
I'm gonna. Yeah, you. Well, no, I pretty much have an. I'm just gonna give the answer that I give often in this case, which is I think there's an episode that is the best episode, and then there's one that's just my personal favorite. But I think the best one, in my opinion, is the Hitchhiker, and my personal favorite one is the After Hours. Even though I already gave that as my 5 on the Tripometer, it just was so much. Sorry, Andrew. I know it's a mannequin episode, but like,
no,
that's man.
We talked about Tourist Trap, I think, when Matt and I went over the After Hours. I don't think I rewatched it, honestly. It depends. If I'm going through them and it comes to nighttime and After Hours is on the rotation, I go through it.
Yeah, I found I didn't actually know this was my phobia, but it was the thing where I watched these movies and I gradually figured it out, which is that I am absolutely mortified of getting trapped in somebody else's body. So being John Malkovich and Get Out and Enter the Void were like 3 of the most uncomfortable watches for me in my life. And it was like, I know this is good.
Tom Hanks, right?
No, he was able to
with
move
Judge
around,
Reinhold, right? 18 Again, George Burns.
Yeah, I don't know.
Freaky Friday.
But those were like you're not trapped in a body where you can't move. That's the scary part. That's the thing that's scary. It's because like Get Out was like a good movie that I don't want to watch again because it terrifies me that the people trapped, they're just trapped in there.
Exactly what happened. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, I get it.
Spoilers.
Yeah. Well, God, if you haven't seen it by now, I don't even think I know you.
I mean, most people have seen it at least a couple times.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
What?
I don't know who that is.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen Nope yet. Don't spoil that for me.
I will. One of the reasons I haven't seen it is because when we do get to the Peel Twilight Zone, I want to do the Peel movies too because they're pretty Twilight Zone-y. So I'm kind of I'm saving myself.
Yeah, us in a very big way. In fact, I hope in Mirror Image I didn't spoil anything from Us because that is
again,
like
if I haven't gotten to it by this time, it's my fault. So, and I actually I just clicking around, I was watching the newest Orville and pre-spoiled myself, but accidentally, just one plot point. But then I started watching episodes. I kind of like knowing this little bit's going to happen later on. It adds resonance, doesn't it?
I do something spoilers similar. I pre-soil myself.
Soil? What? Pre-soil yourself?
Pre-soil myself.
Well, the funny thing is that I spoiled the After Hours for myself because I wasn't going to have time to watch every single episode. So I was like, I'll just read up on these. And then I saw that one and I was like, I have to watch this right now.
That's awesome.
So, my awesome. Personal favorite, I've traditionally called it my like number 2 of the series is Willoughby. Because when I was because John was on for that one and he was like, oh, I want to do that because it's like it's underrated. I feel like people don't know that one. So I'm like, what? Because that actually is
underrated. No, he's right. It is underrated.
I feel like that's one of the really famous ones. But
that's why it's so interesting because I feel the way Mark does. But yeah, you guys have a different take on it. So it's like, I guess if you know the Twilight Zone, you love that one is kind of the thing. So
yeah, but I mean, it's just not one of those ones that people are like, oh, which one really got me? Because they don't tend to be ones like Willoughby.
That one does really get me. Okay. But yeah, we were talking like what would be the merch for that one? Would you sell like the Willoughby train set or something, It just it wouldn't be that.
The hearse.
Yeah, it comes with a little hearse. Yeah, I mean that would be the play set, right? I'm thinking of ones that I hadn't seen so much. That is my favorite, but I'm trying to think of some I haven't seen so much that like I really noticed this time around. I'll give props to the Hitchhiker. I had seen that before, but it had been a little while.
Great one.
I guess the ones that really got me besides those I wasn't so familiar with would have been The Lonely for sure.
Mhm.
Because I was like, why haven't I seen this one? That seemed kind of weird. Um, so I like that
Robot.
one a lot. Yeah, the robot and the
Sorry.
last I don't think I'd seen the last flight before, and I enjoyed that one quite well. So those would be like the ringers of ones I had not previously seen.
The Last Flight is the time traveling World War One
The
guy.
World War One guy.
Yes. I
Yeah.
already referenced that earlier, but yes, okay. That was very good. I don't remember seeing that one. I could go through, I think probably more than half of these are ones I don't specifically remember watching, but I remember seeing A Stop at Willoughby before, and for sure People Are Alike all over from the last batch of stuff.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going based on stuff that I've watched since the last time that you and I did an episode.
Okay, yeah, sure, why not?
specifically.
You can do that if you want.
'Cause-
I can't even ask that question to Andrew because he marathons these things. So,
Mhm.
is there anything like you forgot though? Like, oh, I forgot this one was like so awesome.
About season 1?
Yeah, because you kind of say you hit these like twice a year, so I feel like you're probably familiar with whatever you're seeing.
Yeah. Not in this season, no. They all come like there's some I love from 2, 4, but 5 has obviously some of my favorite too. But no, 1 is I don't sometimes make it all the way through, and then if it's been a while, I just start back over. So season 1 is the one I've seen the most, and so I did. Yeah, nothing really hits me like the other ones do.
As we move into season
Yes.
2, the other question I just have to throw out is a theme song. You've been hearing the Bernard Herrmann theme for a while now. Now we're going to switch to the popular theme, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
What-
Do, 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 do. Wait,
That's
did
right.
Bernard Herrmann not also write that?
No, he did not. That's a
Oh,
French
weird.
composer.
That was
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra's original Love and Marriage.
Right.
Do, 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 do.
Entering the Twilight Zone.
I almost I forgot that music existed. Isn't that weird? I'm so immersed in season 1. I just completely didn't even think about it.
Yeah, I've actually
Stopped thinking about
been
it.
really enjoying that one. It's what I feel like it's kind of like eerier. It's more amorphous sounding, you know?
I'm a
So-
big Bernie Herrmann fan. I like him so much that I think other people's work is his, apparently.
You call him Bernie.
Bernie.
First
I
name
mean-
basis.
Taxi Driver soundtrack is like, it's to me one of the great works of just the 20th century, and he turned that in and just like died the next day or something like
Right.
that.
I was about to say, wasn't that the last
Incredible.
one? Yeah.
Incredible.
But yeah. So I mean, he gets some of the music in various episodes as well. I thought the Hitchhiker was weird because they took it from the music he did for the radio drama, which was one of the first things he did in America, at least. So that was kind of weird.
That's a tight budget for you.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll wrap up. Is there anything you just want to scream about season 1 before we put a cap in its rear end?
I hope Rod Serling gets more comfortable as we go on.
No, you don't.
Yes. I feel kind of like, man, you're doing such a great job, Rod. I just want to tell him you're doing a great job.
Yeah, we're going to start seeing him on screen now, so he's going to maybe look more awkward because you'll see.
Well,
more
you know what it would be like if you said he was doing a great job. He'd be like, "Yeah, thanks," like that.
I find the Twilight Zone just to be sort of a miracle, but especially in this first season, because there's a degree of it in the Twilight Zone companion, but it goes into great detail when you read the book Serling about Rod Serling, because of the amount of compromise that he had to endure because of the advertisers and what he could and couldn't do. And so you're like, God, every single one of these is a freaking miracle, you know? And so I feel like this was the proving ground for him. And because of that, I mean, it's very, very special. I don't think it's the best season, but it's just with the amount of episodes they are mostly good. And all of this to me is just, you keep using the word miracle, but it's kind of an unprecedented thing. There's nothing like, it's like the first 4 Led Zeppelin albums or something.
Well, I talk too much about the little promos they put at the end of the Blu-rays that I have, and it's just one with Steve McQueen usually that seems to fit reasonably well, but most of the other promos they put at the end, you're just like, what? Because TV was just such a different beast at that time.
Yeah.
This is this is my first time really just watching all of it. So to me, I love, and it's like I already knew this, but I love the fact that when you zoom out, it's not, it is a series of morality plays, but it's not a concrete, solid morality. It's like a completely chaotic series of lessons, if you will. It's not, every episode, it could have some element of karma or justice or just random stuff happening or doom, or it's just that you kind of get everything, and that's life, man. You just get all of it.
I agree. That's like some of the best critique I've ever heard of it, because Serling's not standing there as the judgmental eye or the voice of right and wrong, which they easily could have been. And it's funny how many like beloved movies in decades later from this would be by that playbook and just forget. People will never probably fully know, including me, what Rod Serling really did.
You wouldn't want to know. That would take the fun out of it.
Yeah, it's like, it's almost like a direct opposition to Chick Tracts, which I am kind of fascinated with. But like
Same.
Chick Tracts, Chick Tracts, they look really cool, but the main thing about them is that random stuff happens, even though what the guy is trying to do is to always be like, look out, Jesus is going to get you.
Yeah.
Or Satan or something. But this is like, anything good from that is here, but then it's also not trying to judge you or trying to scare you. It's just like, it's just life. I don't
I'll
know.
give you a wedding
Random
present.
chance.
Yeah, you're not like
Oh,
waiting.
God.
You're not waiting to see something bad happen.
It's like what I like about the Final Destination movies, how the Grim Reaper never comes out. Like it's
That
similar
is
thing.
my favorite horror franchise. I did a couple of podcasts with my friend Tiffany where we, in across 2 episodes, broke down the whole series. It's just to
Nice.
me the most consistent.
Yeah, me too. I think like with Child's Play behind it, that's like the most consistent and entertaining horror series.
We did those too.
Nice.
I do have to throw out that I've had a
Cool.
Chick Tract tab open on my iPad for like a month now.
I have a bag of them physically, and I need to just scan them and like burn them or something. But,
Oh, you can watch.
I have a
you
bunch
can-
of them.
They're all on the website. You can.
We have to have had this conversation since you and I did an episode of Oral Hygiene about a Chick Tract.
Oh yeah, good point.
Must have talked about this.
Okay, I guess now that the circle is complete, and yeah, I have to go to work. So it's mid-August. What's up, Mark? Anything up?
You could probably watch a short film that I scored called Content the Lo-Fi Man on Arrow Network. It may be paired with Tetsuo the Iron Man. I'm not really sure. We're still working that out, but it's gonna be finished in August. I know that much.
Andrew.
Okay, well, by August, you should be able to stream Gonzorifix movie Areola Jones and the Home Video Vixens, and you should be able to buy Jigsaw on Blu-ray DVD.
Right on. Okay, as for it's Time Enough Podcast, Time Enough Pod on Twitter and Facebook, and the Patreon podcasting zone of Podcastius, where we also talk about sci-fi movies, something else, video games, Pokemon. My brain stopped working for a moment there. And you'll get episode, if you want to join, you'll get episodes pretty much as soon as they are recorded. And I know a few people are at least listening to these now, so thank you.
So season 2 coming in 2023, right?
No, actually, like in 3 days, but yeah.
Okay, season 2 coming in 3 days.
We can't stop now. He come
The
too
Twilight Zone marches on.